Hey, I'm Jay and welcome to Sundance Studio. This is a quick video about producing your tracks really loud, and does it really cause any distortion, squash down the dynamics and make it just a bit of a mess? Well, I want to show you a method that I learned from another channel called Bathymetrics, who I learned the clip to zero method about, and it has completely changed the way in which I mix, and it produces me incredibly loud mixes, -6 LUFs or thereabouts. I still retain dynamic range. You can hear everything in the track, and it will bring your tracks to life and will make them sit in a DJ list, unlike if it was that sort of -14 for streaming. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a professional DJ. I produce music for clubs and for festivals. My music isn't meant to be streamed, so I really don't give a shit about -14 LUS and whether people hear it on their phones or not. I'd rather produce mine really loud and then Spotify and that turn it down when it gets released, than I have it quiet and they turn it up. At least I know my tracks can make it into a DJ's playlist. When I play tracks out, if I've got a really quiet track and you turn the trim up, well, it'll suffice, but it doesn't have the same clout behind it as, say, like some of the people I'm playing. And there are quite a lot of the professional tracks, and I measure them, and there's some of them down to like -5. So this whole business about, loud is bad, no. So I'm going to show you, well, I'm not actually going to teach you the clip to zero method, because that would take like 40 hours or more. You need to go over to Bathymetrics channel and watch it yourself. It's about 40 hours. You'll need to sit down. You'll need to treat it like a university lecture. He doesn't present it that way. It's not as boring as that, but you do need to have that type of mindset, and you need to go through it, and don't be impatient and try stuff before you've got to the next episode, and etc. So with that in mind, I've got a sample here behind me that I've put together, and we will see together. I've got a track that I'm working on that's at -6.5 LUFs, and you can hear it and make up your own mind whether that track is bad, distorted, squash dynamics or not. So let's hop into Cubase and let's look at this together. Let's go. Right, so here we are inside Cubase Pro 12, and what I was talking about earlier is the clip to zero method, and this is the method that will get your tracks insanely loud without sacrificing too much in the way of dynamics. That will still give you a track that is breathable, has space in it, and has dynamic range. So before we go much further, I'm going to play you this track, and I want you to listen to it and analyze it and tell me, or think to yourselves, is this track distorting? Does it sound squashed? Does it still have dynamic range? Etc, etc. So without further ado, let's just play it. Right, so this is contains simply 4 channels at the moment. We've got a kick, a bass, we've got a drum pattern that's been chopped up, and I've got some hats and a reverbed synth line. Sorry, 5 channels. I'll show you the master output channel and what we've actually got on that. So here on the stereo output channel, we've got DP meter, which is here. That's the first in the signal path. Secondly, we've got K-clip, which is here, and everything on K-clip is just simply set to 0. In, out, and the ceiling is also set to 0. And then directly after the signal has passed through K-clip, we are then going on to Sonable's true level to show us the LUFs the dynamic range and what the true peak is. At the moment, I'm not too bothered about the true peak because I'll only worry about that one if when the track comes to mastering, and then I'll adjust that. So that is all I've actually got on the master channel. I've got Restream standalone here because obviously I need that to go to record onto OBS. So there's not a limiter, a compressor, an EQ, nothing that this signal path is touching anywhere on the master level to get to these LUFs. So we're going to look at the actual LUFs integrated loudness straight out the box. I'll play it again, I'll reset the meter, and you look at this figure here. Right, 6.3, 6.4. Did you hear any distortion? Did you hear any artifacts? Did you hear any dynamics being squashed? Could you hear the track clear and precise? Could you hear all the elements? Yes, you could. And that's because you need to follow this method called clip to zero. Clip to zero is on Bathymetrics channel, and you need to treat it like a university lecture. It's about 40 hours worth of intense learning, and it's dead easy to follow. It's not difficult to follow, and you won't lose concentration. You won't fall asleep. He doesn't do it in a boring manner. And I'll tell you now, it will change the way you approach your mixes forever. And you will always get insanely loud tracks that there is a little compromise on dynamics, but not to the point whereby it's completely squashed down like to a sausage. No, it's not. And that's where you need to go. You need to sit down for a week, learn this, probably 2 weeks, maybe a month, depending on what time you've got, pen and paper in hand, and don't rush it. Whatever you do, have patience, do not rush it. So 6.3, 6.4 is what we're hitting straight out of the box, and I'm not even touching a limiter or a compressor. Then it goes in, like I said, it goes into the Kazrock K-Clip 3, which is just sitting there passively, and everything's just set to 0. And then we can see the signal path after that and what true level sonable is telling us. So let's play that again, and I'll reset everything. Pay particular attention to the dynamic range. I've got this set to electronic dance music, and sonable true level is indicating that the dynamic range is up here in this dark green area. So you watch the target area, and down here where my track is, and where if it ends up in where it thinks it should be. So let's play the track. Right, there you go. 6.4, 6.5 on both. And the dynamic range was spot on, bang on the target. I'll show you what's going on each channel to give you an idea of how things are set up and part of the clip to zero method. So on here's the kick, and I've got FabFilter Pro Q3. I've got the SSL Comp stereo compressor, which is doing a tiny job. Look. You know, it's hardly moving. It's just there, just to hold it there. You know, just a little bit of control. But where the real magic happens is down here. Now, I've got Waves Studio Rack to house the 3 plugins that make this magic happen. You don't need a Studio Rack. You can just have them separately in your channel strip. But it consists of DP meter, and DP meter is set to 0 dB FS, and it's in RMS mode, and you use this to normalize the audio to 0. You see this? Everything's set to 0. So you do that first. Then next in the chain is Blue Cat's gain plugin. Again, that's just set as 0. It's passively sitting there. And what you'll do is you'll set yourself up a VCR channel with Blue Cat's gain in it. And if they're all in the same group, what you need to do before you go to mastering is you'll turn this down a little bit, down to like, a couple of dB down to give some headroom on the master, and then you send it off for mastering. But other than that, they all sit at 0. They don't do anything until you're ready for that to happen. But the main thing is using K-clip and the clipping method. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You need to go over the bathymetrics and listen how to do that. This is the magic. This is the magic part here. Okay, at the end. And you'll also need to get yourself something called where is it? SizeScope Pro. You need this little plug-in here. Because this is what you'll need to show you whether your mixes are clear and that things are not clashing with each other. It's a small little plug-in, but it's part of the K-Clip to 0. I've not included it in this because it's not that important at the moment. So if we look at each channel, I'm doing whatever processing I need to do, and then again it's a studio rack with the 3 plugins again, and every single channel in the Clip to 0 method has to have these 3 plugins on it, whether it's in a rack or whether you have them separately, individually on your channel strip. DP meter, some sort of gain plugin, and a K-clip. And then that happens throughout every single track you've got, and then happens on every group chat, every group channel, and some channels. And that's it. So this business and this myth that if your tracks are like insanely loud, they're not have any dynamic range, etc., etc. Well, I just wanted to prove that that's not entirely the case. I'm just an average producer. I'm a DJ, and I know that an awful lot of my favorite artists that I play, a lot of their tracks are like -4, -6, and I produce music to play out in clubs in a live environment. I don't make music to go on streaming platform. I don't mind if they turn it down because my track is insanely loud. 6.5 is insanely loud, and it'll work really well in a club. It'll work really well in a festival, and it's not. I don't make it to go on Spotify. I don't make it to go on Deezer, YouTube, Apple Music, etc. So therefore, if they want to turn it down and bring it into line with all the other volumes, that's fine. But at least my DJs who are playing my music do not have to turn it up. It's got to match everything else that's in their playlist. So there you go. This is what Clip to 0 method is about. This is what you can achieve if you follow it properly and give it the time that it deserves, and you too will get this. So let's have one more listen to this. Look at the meters, watch them all, and you make your own mind up. I'm not sure I need to say anymore. There it is. There's the actual data right there in front of you. There's the sound for your ears and all the information for your eyes. Yeah. Bathymetrics, Clip to 0 method. It will change the way you mix forever. Go watch it. Check it out. Okay, guys, this is Jay from Sundance Studio, and see you again soon. Thanks for watching, and please, if you enjoyed this, subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Bye for now.